So welcome back to the Ghana Hotspur channel. It's Champions League night and Tottenham Hotspur has just beaten Villarreal by 1-0 in the first game in the Champions League, making sure that they kick off their Champions League with a winning start. That was good in terms of winning, but I'm not sure about the performance. But we'll get straight to it now. Let's start with the lineup. Thomas Frank, the coach, started with Guillermo Vicario in post. We had Pedro Porro from right side of defense. Christian Romero and Mickey van der Ven were the centre backs in this particular game. Jet Spence was playing as left back. Then we had Lucas Bergvall, Rodrigo Bentancur and Pape Matassa as the three midfielders sitting right in front of the defenders, and we had Mohamed Kudus from the right, Richarlison leading the line from the front, and then Xavi Simons playing from the left. So these were the starting 11 for Tottenham Hotspur in this particular game. Seems like a really solid plan on paper, but I'm not sure how it turned out. But indeed, Tottenham Hotspur were very lucky to get a very first goal in about the 4th minute. Porro, the defender, laid off a beautiful ball to Bergvall to the right. Bergvall made a dash with the ball, did a cross aiming for Richarlison, but the goalkeeper for Villarreal, strangely, I don't know what was going on in his head. He went for the ball, but for some reason the ball slipped in his hand and he pushed it right into his goalpost, getting Tottenham Hotspur on a winning start in the 4th minute by 1-0. But for some reason, even after the goal, Tottenham were not able to dominate this particular game. Strangely, actually, it was Villarreal that came up on top, playing very well, controlling the ball, made sure that they were stringing passes together. For some reason, Spurs didn't take advantage of the momentum of the first goal to dominate. They didn't. Villarreal actually played better after the goal. Tottenham Hotspur, I'm not too sure, but there was quite a bit of a slow build up on their side. I believe too cautious, lack of creativity in this particular game. Creativity was virtually non-existent. I don't know whether it's because of the tactics that Thomas Frank, deployed in this particular game, because Xavi Simons, who clearly is our most creative footballer on the field of play, was playing from the left, but he was cutting in a lot though to try and be still that bring that creativity in the middle when he cuts in. But I don't think it was working at all. It was still Villarreal that had a big chunk of the game, and I think perhaps at the latter part of the first half, Spurs took control a bit for a while, but didn't really create much in the first half. Xavi Simons was on the left. He didn't have a great game. He had an okay game. Tried to create a couple of opportunities from the left. Didn't really go well. We have them pumped for a very long time in the first half. I don't know if Thomas Frank was being too cautious. I thought we showed them too much respect, honestly. I know Villarreal is a very good team, currently sitting 5th in the La Liga. They were 5th last year, and that's how come they qualified for the Champions League. They're a decent side, very organized, but I think we showed them too much respect, and our creativity didn't come through. So that was how the first half turned out. 1-0. Spurs went into the half with a goal lead, hoping that the second half will turn around. But second half started. We still didn't really get on to a great start in the second half. Even though it seemed like in the very first 5 to 10 minutes we had a bit of control, but we were still lacking that creativity. It was a bit static from our players. No movement, would get the ball. Romero, for instance, trying to build up from the back, would be looking for support, not support, but people to make the run or move, but nobody was, so it was a bit static, and we're not moving much, and therefore not creating a lot of opportunities and creating chaos, for Villarreal. Villarreal honestly held their own, very organized. In the 68th minute, I believe, Thomas Frank tried to make some changes, brought on Palhinha for Pape Matassa in the middle, took off Jet Spence from left back and brought on Destiny Udogie um, and moved to a 4-2-3-1 formation. Because at this point Villarreal were playing very, very well. They were controlling the game, and they were a big threat, honestly. And it's surprising that they still couldn't score. They had very decent chances compared to Tottenham Hotspur. In the 76th minute, um, the coach made another change, brought on um, Johnson for Xavi Simons on the left, and also brought in Kolo Muani, having his very first game for Tottenham Hotspur. That was his debut in the Champions League, but also for Tottenham Hotspur. He brought on Kolo Muani and withdrew Richarlison to the bench. But this still didn't really make any major impact. Villarreal played, like I said, played very, very well. Very organized, they just were not very clinical in front of goal. Pepe should have had at least one goal, honestly. It's strange that Tottenham went away without conceding, because if Villarreal were just a bit clinical, they should have. I think it was unfair on them to go away without a goal. They deserved at least a goal. One fourth, who is their captain and defender, was magnificent in this particular game. Remember that Foyth is a former Tottenham Hotspur player, but he moved on, to find more games because he wasn't having a sniff at Tottenham Hotspur. So again, second half wasn't also great, but Tottenham Hotspur, at least they managed to go through. Not go through, but win their very first game. Currently, that's sitting fifth in the league table in the Champions League. Again, Tottenham in their fifth. This is their fifth competitive game, and they've run away, with another clean sheet. So 5 games, so 4 games in the Premier League, plus this particular one. That's 4 games. They've only conceded one goal, 4 clean sheets. So that should tell you how they've been quite solid at the back as well. Thomas Frank clearly, prioritizing, the fact that, well, if you're not scoring, we shouldn't be conceding. So not so great display. Lucky to have won the game by 1-0, but it's good. It's good for Tottenham Hotspur, starting on a winning note. Let me also quickly go through the rest of the Champions League games that happened today. I remember Arsenal played that game earlier before this particular game. So Athletic Club of Spain were hosting Arsenal. So Arsenal went away to beat them by 2-0. PSV Eindhoven were at home, but they lost by 3-1 to Union SG. Benfica were also at home, and guess what? They also lost to Karabag. Surprising. Juventus and Borussia Dortmund, it was a cracker of a game. 8 goals in this particular game. Juventus 4 at home, Borussia Dortmund 4. Can you imagine? And then Real Madrid, with a late goal in that particular game, they won by 2-1. In fact, it was Marseille that went ahead in that particular game, and then Kylian Mbappe scored through a penalty. And guess what? In the 81st minute, Real Madrid got another penalty converted by Kylian Mbappe. So that's it for the rest of the games in the Champions League for tonight. Champions League night, Tottenham Hotspur running away with the 1-0 win and 3 points with a clean sheet, making sure that they get off on a good start in the Champions League this season. Well, thanks for watching. Come on, you Spurs. See you again on Saturday for the English Premier.